Good afternoon and happy Friday. It's Alyssa Corman-Ken Shreve here reporting to you live from our newsroom in Los Angeles. It is Friday, March 15th. On today's show, we're taking a look at Broadcom, Microsoft, and Ulta. But first, let's check in with the major indexes. Closing today up across the board. The Nasdaq, it was up over 1% at one point, but still finished with a healthy gain of 0.7%. The S&P and Dow finished up about 0.5% each, and the Nasdaq hitting its highest level since about October 9th, I think.
Yeah, this session was all about Broadcom earnings. It fueled a big rally in semiconductor stocks. We had a big day for the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index, and so a good day of outperformance for the Nasdaq. I think we're looking at a weekly gain of close to 4% for the tech index. That broadly outperformed the Dow and S&P 500 this week. So bull market definitely intact here, and it seems like a long time ago that we called that follow-through day on January 4th,
right.
But it was the S&P that followed through. We called the bottom right around January 4th, and it's been a nice rally since then. We got ending the week with more strength today.
That's right. We've seen some pretty nice gains so far this year,
yeah.
And stocks continuing to turn out some impressive gains. Even still, a couple months into this uptrend, we have Broadcom finishing the day up over 8% in heavy volume off of the intraday high, but a nice gain nonetheless on its quarterly earnings report with an earnings beat. It did have a slight revenue miss here, but the company reiterating its outlook, expecting growth in the strong growth in the second half of the year, leading a rally in chip stocks.
Yeah, it wasn't so much looking at the earnings beat for Broadcom. Like you said, sales missed a little bit, but it was what they were saying about the second half of this year in terms of demand, and seemed pretty optimistic about business. The company also said they're going to return about $12 billion to shareholders in the form of share buybacks and dividends. So it's a really solid day for Broadcom. Kind of a disappointing close. It did gap up powerfully, but it closed in the bottom half of its intraday range. But again, the earnings report here really fueled a broad-based rally in chip stocks. The Nasdaq 100, you look at all the big gainers in the Nasdaq 100, it was pretty much
right.
all chip stocks. So good day for Broadcom.
Yeah, and this is a pretty long consolidation here for Broadcom, and when it first tried to break out to new highs, hit some resistance and pulled back with a new handle here that has formed after the stock found support at the 50-day.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a stock that is still in buy range. This is a breakout from a first stage consolidation. So, we're still in a confirmed uptrend. So looking at stocks that are breaking out of bases, breaking out of consolidations that haven't run 5% past the buy
right.
point, those are still in range. So Broadcom still looks actionable here.
That's right, it does. And tech giant Microsoft finished the day up over 1%, hitting a new all-time high intraday. It did pair some of those gains, but at one point it did hit its highest level since early October, right around when we saw the broad market first starting to pull back here. It's extended from a cup with handle base.
Yeah, so Microsoft, Intel, Boeing, a lot of big gainers in the Dow today. So it was kind of broad-based rally, which is what we've been seeing. It's not really a market rally that's been led by narrow leadership.
Right.
It's really been broad-based. So
that's good to see.
Yeah, Microsoft, one of many strong performing blue chips today. This is a stock that initially broke out over a 108 buy point, but it actually did form an alternate handle entry of 113.34. So this one actually still looks like it's in buy range as well if you're going off that 113.34 handle entry. And you look at a weekly chart, it's definitely still in the early stages of a breakout here, and obviously a lot of good things going on at Microsoft, pivoting into new markets. They're back in growth mode, so definitely good fundamentals going on at Microsoft.
Yeah, and the stock testing new highs now.
Yep.
And also Ulta Beauty shares gapped up today over 8% in heavy volume on its strong quarterly report. We saw earnings growth of 31%, marking slight acceleration from the prior quarter. Kylie Jenner and her cosmetic line benefiting the company here, and Ulta, after a pretty big correction from 2017 to 2018, it's now looking like it's found its footing a little bit more.
Yeah, another breakout from a first stage base. We talk about first stage, second stage, third stage bases. So between Broadcom, Microsoft, and Ulta Beauty, these are all first stage breakouts today. So pretty nice numbers at Ulta Beauty, sales growth in the most recent quarter decelerated just a little bit from the prior quarter, but again, CEO Mary Dillon really doing a fine job at Ulta Beauty, and company is executing well. You mentioned the launch of the Kylie Jenner cosmetic line, and it was late last year, November, December, I think, but same store sales up 9.4%, well ahead of views.
And for a retailer,
yeah,
that's strong.
That's a big growth, big same store sales growth. So, and again, just the price action of the stock closed up near its high for the session, at least in the upper half of its range. So, good day for Ulta Beauty, and again, breakout from a first stage base here.
That's right. Looks technically healthy, strong fundamentals to boot, so definitely one to keep watching. And with it closing in the upper half of the range, maybe we'll see it extend its gains next week.
Yeah, anytime a stock breaks out, you like to see follow through, and we had a little bit of selling into the close in the major stock indexes today, but a lot of good action in individual stocks today.
That's right. And for an even deeper look at stocks to watch, we do have IBD Weekly coming out, a new issue. So whether it's our front page cover story, New America Industry Snapshot, all of our stock list stories, we have a lot of insights every week, and this is where investors are going to get that.
Well, the earnings preview column on B2 and IBD Weekly, we talked about Tencent Music. This is a real high-flying China new issue, a spinoff from Tencent, China's biggest online music streaming service. They're going to have earnings next week, so stock has acted very well after a breakout from an IPO base. So we got Micron, FedEx, a whole bunch of earnings reports next week too.
Well, a lot more stocks to analyze, so make sure you are tuning back here every day for our analysis with more of these reports coming up next week. Thank you for joining us, everyone, and make sure you're heading to investors.com for all the latest stock news and analysis, and make sure you're following us across social media from Facebook to Instagram to YouTube to Twitter to stay up to date on all the latest. Thanks for joining us. We hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday.